It took me 4 years to get my bachelor's degree. And it took me 5 days to get my insurance license.
Life insurance people are a scam.
Family members trying to screw over the next family, knowing there's a check coming.
But a good salesperson, when it comes to life insurance, it's really pouring value. I will always push a person to follow their dreams and their passion. No, one day they're gonna ask me how I did it, and I'm gonna tell them I try to show you.
I come in here, it looks professional. Tune into the content.
Welcome back to another episode of Direct Discussions, a podcast dedicated to deep diving with individuals like you. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to David.
Welcome back to the #1 podcast in Texas. Let me hand it back off to Roger.
Oh man, I'm so glad you were able to make it. Today, guys, we have a very special guest on our show. 27-year-old Latina in the insurance industry. Let's give it up for Evelyn de la Garza.
Let's go. Appreciate you for being with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the invite for sure.
No, most definitely. And we're going to go ahead and just get right into it. And let's, okay, so the way we're going to go ahead and start it off is, I did see what you posted a couple days ago about, that interview that you did. Well, not an interview. It was more of a commercial, right? About how you got started.
Oh, yeah, the video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So touching back on that, I want to know more about how your uncle's death affected your family and pushed forward onto your career.
Yeah. So, okay, this is a very, very good topic. So, obviously it was during COVID. It was right before COVID. Y no la quiero hacer muy larga. I'm gonna Spanglish this out.
No, you're fine.
So I don't wanna make it too long. But it was definitely a very tough year, I think, for many of us. COVID. My uncle unfortunately passed away in February. All of a sudden, right? And that was, I think, the first time that I really got to know like how tough it is, a funeral, not only emotionally but financially, right? I was going to college for psychology. I was working at a community college, so I had my own thing going on, and then this happened, and then we had to create a GoFundMe, right? And at the time, GoFundMes were apenas estaban empezando. Now they're like so popular, but we had to create a GoFundMe, and you know the whole drill about raising money for a funeral. It's tough. After that, I had, I want to say 3 to 4 friends that passed away, seguiditas, and then I was like, man, another GoFundMe. The church that I was going to, we would run to the pastor to ask for una ofrenda because we needed money for a funeral. So all of that really opened my eyes to be like, you know what? The Latino community, we're not prepared. We're not prepared to pass away. We don't really know how it works, what to do when it comes, whether it's life insurance, it's funerals. We have no idea how that works. All we depend on are GoFundMe accounts. So after that, pasaron como 9 meses, I think a couple months after, and I decided to be like, you know what? I'm leaving the career as a counselor, and I'm going to go straight into insurance. I don't know how it's going to go, pero le voy a dar. Y yo soy bien, like, when I like something, when I'm passionate, I just go all in. And I'm like, I'm going to figure it out. God's going to give me the grace, pero le voy a dar. And yeah, that's how I came into the whole world of life insurance.
So touching back on that, is that when you met Caleb, or how did you meet Caleb?
Cool. So Caleb messaged me. So I'm not gonna say how I met Caleb because he me va a regañar. I met him in college, and it's just an inside story that we have. Caleb, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry, my friend. Pero no lo voy a decir. But we were in a speech class. And I met Caleb in speech class, and then I met his wife, Jaira, through church events. We were just through church. And then a couple months later, he sends me a DM on Instagram and saying, hey, you don't want to do the whole life insurance? I was like, no. Like, yo quería correr de él, right? Usually when we hear about life insurance, we run away.
Hey, Caleb asked me the same thing, and I was like, this is not for me. This is not my avenue.
I know.
Insurance. That was, if you know yourself, then you're like, yeah, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And you felt like that was for you
when
he contacted you?
No, I was like, this is not for me. Oh, okay. I don't want to do this. Like, I want to help families. I want to, but in psychology, counsel them, y todo eso. And Caleb me manda el mensaje, and it was like Christmas, dude. I'm like, dude, it's Christmas. Calm down. Like, I'm trying to enjoy my vacation. But he was persistent. He was persistent, and he came to my house. I remember he came to my house with his wife, and como que se lo aventé a mi papá. I was like, Dad, look, there's this guy. He wants to do insurance, and my dad's like, we're gonna do it. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay, fine. Vamos a echarle ganas. Pero así fue. It was through an Instagram message. But who would have known? Like, who really would have known que yo estuviera haciendo life insurance after that? I applied to my master's degree y lo dejé ahí y me vine acá con Caleb and did life insurance.
So before that, you said you were really into psychology. You were studying that. How long were you studying psychology?
I finished my bachelor's. Acabo de terminar. So I was 4 years into my career.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And then you just
And then
straight
I
took a
just
pivot. Oh
yeah,
wow,
I
that's
just
a
did
big
a
jump. That's a big jump.
Yeah.
So when you told your parents about life insurance, and then I know in the Latino community, everyone's like, "Oh my God, life insurance people are a scam," this and that. Did your family react to that way, or do you have any?
Oh.
No.
No. Oh, oops, my bad. No, actually, so this is the thing with my parents. My parents siempre han sido bien precavidos. They've always been very prepared, which is sometimes in the Latino community, that's kind of weird to find that. It is possible. There's a lot of Latinos, but there's a lot of Latinos that I've met que no se preparan en esta área, right? And I don't blame it on them. I think I blame it on how we were raised. We weren't really educated. Like money, you don't learn about money in school.
No.
I went to middle school, high school, college. I worked in a college, and we don't learn about money.
Unless you want to.
Unless you want to, yeah. Entonces, and maybe it's not just a Latino thing. Maybe that's just in general. We graduate from high school not knowing how a credit card works or a loan. I'm telling you because I used to work in a college, and we motivated kids to come on, get this loan or get this. Classes are like $400 and you don't get that money back. I'm not talking bad about college. I have a college degree. I'm just saying that we're not raised into really learning about money and finances, especially life insurance. But my parents were very conscious of this. They're like, you know what? Es bien importante que nos preparemos and to have something, especially because my uncle had just passed away. My uncle had just passed away, and we had, lost some other people, some other loved ones in our family. Así que el tema estaba bien, bien fresco, And in general, everybody in COVID was like,
yeah, going through that. I felt like where we were at, to me, COVID didn't really affect me as much, just because where we were at, it was like never shut down. We just kept going as if there was no
really,
COVID, which makes it kind of bad because it was like you were just out there doing everything. I wanted to touch on what you said right there, where nobody really learns about money, which you're right on that, because I feel like the government and society tries to keep us in the rat race, and so that we can just keep making the richer people more and more money and just leave all the poor people at the bottom, and that's where they want us to stay. So you're right on that. Like everybody doesn't really know about money. Yeah, and
it's just
if
a system.
you don't learn about it unless you literally want to. Like learn about it either in a book, or you meet a guy at the gas station or a woman at the gas station. You just meet a great mentor, and they're like, "Yeah, let me help you through this." Luckily with Marcus, we just knew somebody that was great, and he helped me with a mutual fund and getting that kind of stuff set up. And I'm still a little skeptical on the insurance part. So your idea today, your idea today would be convincing me to get life insurance, because I know I need it, but still there's that little bit of timidness.
Do you have kids?
Yes, I have one.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, that's the main reason why.
Yes, exactly. And even if, do you have kids too or no?
No, just one.
Yeah, so you have kids. But fíjate que a lot of people think like, oh, well, because I have a kid, I need to get something. No, even if you don't have kids, life insurance in general is just, it's for everyone. I always tell people, we're all going to need a funeral. Maybe you live with your parents. There's a lot of Hispanic kids that live with their parents, and their parents don't have $20,000 just there sitting, for a funeral. So
is that much
it's definitely
cost?
Yeah, 20,000.
20,000.
Yeah, 20,000. It's crazy.
That is insane.
So a lot of people get like cremated because that's cheaper. Pero si juntas todo, desde la caja, the service, the everything, it comes down to like 20,000.
That's one thing about me. Like, I make sure, like, I got life insurance a long time ago, and I mean, I just kind of have the policies there, and they just kind of just pay it. But other than that, I mean, yes, they're in my name, but I did wanted to bring your attention to setting up trust and putting the trust money into a life insurance. because the last person we talked to, he's real big on making trust for people.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what is your opinion on making a trust and putting the life insurance money in the trust?
I mean, so see, my area of focus is life insurance. Yes, we do wills and we do trust, but even it's a long discussion because there's a lot of controversia when it comes to life insurance.
Details and stuff.
Yes, there's a lot of details, there's a lot of kinds of policies, there's a lot of opinions. People need different things. Especially nowadays with TikTok, everybody's giving their opinion like you should get this, you should get that. But to answer your question, I believe it really comes down to what the person wants, to what the person needs. And aside from that, something that I'm very big on, especially in the Latino community, because obviously most of them don't speak English, is read your policies. Understand how everything works, how life insurance works. You have to really understand it because in the world of life insurance, a lot of people, I see firmo ya. And we do that with our car. You have car insurance, right? And you just sign and yeah. So me personally, I'm very big on read the small letters. Read it. Understand it. Porque cada situación es diferente. Every situation is different. Some people want to go that route. Other people want to go a different route. But I really have to know your situation to know, hey, you should go this way. But even then, I'm very big on reading the policies. That's why, going back to you about the whole 2020, you were probably like, oh, pues to me it was the same. To me, it really changed because now everything's on Zoom, everything, no hay como conocer las familias.
No, I understand. I mean, because we were talking about this also, like we didn't want to have to like bring people on to share their stories and their information over a webcam.
Yeah, that's good.
I hate that idea.
No, for real, because I mean, like you don't get that same connection with the individual when you're talking to them face to face and hearing their voice and hearing the emotions in their voice. I mean,
seeing their mannerisms,
That's
the way
true.
they act, and everything, it's a lot more personal being one on one than it is sitting in front of a camera because you can misconstrue somebody's perception of you by a camera. You can, you're not seeing what they're wearing
Right.
underneath and stuff like that. The business on top and then just underwear on the bottom. That same concept.
I would have not been wearing heels. Slippers it is.
Exactly right.
Slippers it
a
is.
pair of Crocs.
And, and in
that'd be
pajamas and everything,
perfect.
you would have just wore nice up top
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah,
Exactly.
One of those shirts that have the tuxedo shirt on there.
And believe it or not,
The tie.
eso it just gets to you mentally. Many times we're not mentally there. If you're on Zoom and you have pajamas from the waist down, you're not mentally there. You're halfway there. You're not locked in. But just going in person, and I mean, I've worked on Zoom for a long time because of COVID. It's a comfortable spot. Just hop on Zoom, run the meeting, and close it, and go back to whatever I'm doing. But you're just not locked in. It's not the same. So every time I have the opportunity to meet up family in person, I'm gonna go in person.
I think that's a way
Because-
better so you can build that connection with them.
Yes, always. Yeah.
So I want to touch on how long have you actually been in insurance, and how long did it take for you to get like certified and everything?
I started insurance in the end of 2020. So I've been in it for about 3 years and a half, más o menos, about 3 years and a half. And it took me, honestly, I got my license in 5 days. So whenever, yeah, because it doesn't take a long time. A lot of people think, oh, it's going to take forever. It took me 4 years to get my bachelor's degree. And it took me 5 days to get my insurance license. Yes.
So realistically speaking, anybody can just go get an insurance license, which is kind of funny because it's like it's out there, but it's really just out there for the people to get it if they want to get it.
Yeah, exactly. But anybody can get it. I always tell people it's not the hardest license. It really isn't. You just have to study. You just have to study, and it's a great opportunity. Now, there's obviously more licenses. I don't just stop there. I always like to grow. I like to learn more. One of the things about me and working with youth when I was a college advisor, I would always tell them, be a point of resource. Aprende lo más que puedas. And my mom taught me this. She was always like, never give an I don't know for an answer. Hey, David, ¿qué esto que lo otro? Oh, I don't know. No, you go and find the answer and you bring me back an answer. And that stuck to me growing up. Every time, I mean, I'm the oldest one from my family. So I feel like I was always responsible to help my parents, to help my siblings. So I grew up with that idea of I can never tell someone I don't know. And the people that know me know that if I don't know the answer, give me a couple days, I'll figure it out, and I'm going to come back and give you an answer. And that's the power of networking. You always want to network. You always want to know a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, everything.
Yeah, actually doing this whole podcast, we realize it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's like the
Oh,
biggest thing. It's like,
100%.
and that's like just doing this is like, I know when you know, growing up, maybe you hear that a lot of the time. It's not who you know. I mean, not what you know, it's who you know. And then when you actually do a business and you realize, okay, they're right. Like, I know it sounds cliche, but it's
Yeah.
literally exactly that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are figuring that out. Like hey, it's not it's not about you know yes, degrees. Like I said, I'm not talking about degrees. I worked at a community college. I was at a community college, and I worked there for several years. But I would always tell my students, and I should have probably not done this, but I was always telling them, like, follow your passion and get to know people in whatever you do. You want to be a doctor? Go to Parkland and get to know a doctor, get to know a nurse. Ahí entra and get to know them, because it's so powerful to know someone. Degrees are very important, but I believe networking is opens doors that some degrees are never going to open.
Yeah,
It's just a paper.
See, I love that you're saying that because, well, the whole point of us doing this podcast is to actually bring that kind of information to people where it's like, yeah, you can maybe go talk to somebody about XYZ, or you can just come watch this and hear this person who knows a lot about the subject talk about it. Yeah. But the thing about it I love the most is that, I mean, we're bringing on people just like the person who's watching, somebody who just wants to be like, oh, I didn't know it was that easy, because you see all that stuff on the internet and it's like, you have to do this and this and this to be in the insurance, and you get all this in the insurance. But when you really talk to an individual and bring them on, you really get to know what it's like. Now they can think about it and they're like, man, do I really want to have to work 60 hours a week, struggle for a year or two before I actually start making money? $700 per family, that's it? Oh man, I don't think I want to do this. Or, you know what? I can do that. That's manageable.
Yes.
So, how much of the social media do you use to market yourself to your clients?
A lot. A lot. Social media, it was a game changer, man. Like, yeah, definitely a lot. I want to say most of my clients come from social media. But it's a great platform, and this is something I want to say for my young people, right? Because it's so easy to waste time on social media, and it's so easy to scroll and scroll and scroll, and you just don't get anywhere. But there's a lot of people making money on social media, and there's a lot of people getting their clients from social media. So learn how to use it properly. Obviously use it for fun también, verdad? But you can definitely, whatever you want to do, if you focus on growing on social media and use it the right way. And the key of social media is providing value to people. Always provide value to people. Always, always. There's one lady a long time ago always taught me, you always have to get it in your head that people, whenever they hear you or see you on social media, it's what's in it for me. Like, they're being selfish. Like, what's in it for me? Whenever I look at Evelyn's story or bio or social media, what's in it for me? What can I get out of this? So I've really used my social media to post, whatever I can do to bring value to people, I'm gonna do it.
So how long has it been since you, like, I guess, got started into really pushing your social media? Like a year, 2 years, 6 months?
Um, that's a good question. Maybe a year. Yeah,
Yes,
it
when you
wasn't a
started
long time
taking
ago.
social media real serious and say, hey, I can
Yes,
really.
because I was a clown on social media. I was a big clown on social media. I would post the dumbest videos. I was young too, I was like in high school, so I had time, and you know, I always wanted to make a difference. Like, and obviously it sounds cliche, like you say, oh, it's cliche, everybody wants to make a difference. But I really had like something, a desire in me to, I just wanted to help families, and I wanted to help low income families, and I wanted to help families that didn't really know how to get to the next step. They just needed some little, changes. I wanted to be that person, that resource. But definitely working at a community college was what really opened my eyes. And from there, I started posting on social media scholarships, guys. This is how you go to college. So that's where my social media kind of started to grow a little bit.
Sense. I wanted to ask you, what is the most, I guess you kind of alluded to it a little bit there, what is the most satisfying thing you can take from insurance and helping families?
Oh, um, a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. So, speaking in the insurance world, about 2 weeks ago, I had a client that passed away. right? So I had to go through, and I don't know if you saw it on Instagram, I have a reel and delivering the check and everything. It was crazy. Like whenever I went to the funeral of this person, I started crying. I started crying because it was there that it clicked on me. Like, you know what? All the tears, because it's hard. Life insurance, let me tell you guys, is not that easy. People think it's like, oh, life insurance, and you make 700 per family, and you work from home. It's tough.
You're talking about death,
It's
so
t-
I bet
it's
it's
tough talking about death. It's tough being in the life insurance industry because it's not marketable. Like people don't want life insurance. Si yo vendiera, no sé, carros, tacones, iPhones, like humans want to buy things that they can touch, that they can eat, that they can feel. You can't do that with life insurance. You don't see it, you know? It's not even like car insurance. At least you know, okay, that's my car, it's insured, but not with life insurance. So it's tough. But when I was in that funeral and I saw this, I saw this person laying there, and just knowing that, you know what, they're gonna get a check delivered and this family's not going to suffer. You're never going to bring your loved one back, right? But their house is going to get paid off. Their car is going to get paid off. Their credit cards are going to get paid off. They can actually go through the funeral process and the pain in peace. And not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people do that.
you would hope that once you deliver the check that the family does what they need with the check. Like you
Yes.
said, that the car's paid off, the house is paid off. Theoretically, we all hope that's what would happen.
Yes.
But there's a lot of like backstabbing in people's families. If they
Oh,
knew
yeah.
a check like that was coming, you just never know. So yeah,
Yes.
we would all hope that that would happen, but things like that don't always transpire. And like I have a perfect story for this too. I want to tell you off that, but
Yeah.
it literally goes with that whole scenario of just family members trying to screw over the next family, knowing there's a check coming.
Yes.
And stuff like that. So I mean, we would hope. But
No, and you're right. And going back to what I was saying, it's tough because of that. I've gone to families' houses, offer them life insurance. They really need it. Like, they're in debt, they don't have money saved, but they're like, no, porque se lo va a dar al Sancho. Or no, porque si se muere, my wife is gonna kill me because she knows a check is coming. And some people do not get life insurance because of that. Because they're like, no, someone's gonna backstab me, and it's just so no, 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 we're good like that. I'm like, it's crazy.
So how do you deal with that kind of backlash whenever people don't want to, say, "Oh, I don't want this or that because of this and that"? I mean, because I mean, at the end of the day, you have to learn how to close, and I'm pretty sure you're good at closing it. Because if you weren't, you wouldn't be in this industry. So, what kind of tips and tricks do you have to help close that? I don't want to call it a sale per se, but just whenever you're pitching life insurance, you're gonna get them no's, but you always find a way to turn them no's into a yes.
Right. Yeah, it's an art. Sales is an art, and for anyone that's in sales that's listening to me, it's un arte. Like you really have to know how to approach people. A lot of salespeople have a bad reputation. Like, oh no no no, you never venderme. Oh no no, they're coming to. But you really have to be so good at it to the point. I've always told, like I told my team, a good salesperson is that server at a restaurant that when you walked in there, you didn't want a dessert. But you walked out of there eating dessert. And you didn't even know when she sold you on that dessert. She just maybe talked you into it, gave you a little piece for free. I don't know. But a good salesperson, when it comes to life insurance, it's really pouring value. It's a lot about delivering value over price, right? You never want to go and say, hey, look, it's going to be really cheap. Like, you're 27. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so cheap for you. No, you want to deliver value. And the way that I do it, whenever I go with a family, I always deliver the value beforehand, right? A lot of us think that, oh, I have to be good at closing, but you can't close something you haven't opened. So you have to be good at opening. You have to create that trust. You have to sit with them. They have to get to know you. That's why in person there's a higher percentage of you closing if you go in person. Si te ofrecen un cafecito, si te ofrecen de cenar, and I always say yes. Oh, yeah, like bring me the coffee. Why? Because that is creating a good, and I do it genuinamente. I don't do it because like, oh, so I can close it. No, it's just more relaxing. When it comes to life insurance, you want to be friends with that person. You don't just want to close and disappear, but you want to be able to know them, have them get to know you. But I always pour value at the beginning. My closings start at the beginning of the presentation. A bad closer is at the end. Like, so are you gonna get it or not? Or what's your budget? Like no, you want to be able to start closing desde el principio, like desde el principio.
So do you think the art of selling came from your background in psychology? Because although you have a bachelor's, and I mean, I'm pretty sure you know how to play a couple mind games to, get to your end goal. But do you think, having a psychology degree was more beneficial to you in terms of, hey, I can be a better salesman because I've studied how the mind works?
Yes and no, but mainly no, honestly. Like, I love psychology, I love counseling, but to be honest, I feel like I didn't really learn a lot from it. And that was just me. Like, that was just me in college. I was going to college because I wanted to make my parents proud and I wanted to give them a degree and here, pero que tú digas like I really learned like so much from it. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think where you really learn is out in the field. I learned by having families saying, no, I don't want it. Or by, no, no estamos interesados ahorita. That's where I really learned. I learned from the no's, I learned from the yeses. But I think the heart of selling and the heart of life insurance in general really came from working at a community college. That's when I really sat in front of families, Latino families, and I was like, man, like these families need a lot. They need to learn about college or they're coming from another country, how to study here, qué papelería necesitan. Ahí that's where I learned about having a passion to help the Latino community. But now that I came into insurance and now that I see the need, because there is a big need. Like me, every time I see a GoFundMe, I'm like, this is why I love what I do. I don't ever want to see a GoFundMe for a funeral.
Yeah, that's a. I already know that would suck. I know that sucks in general when people have to do the GoFundMe. What has been your most satisfying, or not satisfying? Sorry. What is one of the things that has been real negative inside the insurance industry for you?
For
Maybe
me,
something you just didn't like about it, or whatever.
oh, something I didn't like
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
that you didn't like about it.
Okay, I have an answer for that. So one of the things when it comes to insurance, and you see this a lot, you see a lot of sales agents. That's it. And it makes me angry. It really does. Like the people, my closest people know that me da coraje whenever there's people that not that they lie, not that they're scamming, but they just don't explain a policy how it is. They don't go based on the contract. They just go and then like they sell on price. Queso close. I've had a lot of agent confrontations. I love confronting agents. Like, me agarro con ellos. Like, you're in State Farm? A ver, come on, let's talk about insurance. Oh, you're in Allstate? Come on. I don't know if I was supposed to say this in a podcast.
No, no, it's fine.
Disclaimer, but if you.
Bring them on. Bring everybody. Bring all the smoke. We need to make
I
sure
know,
they're not trying to
sorry.
scam people.
It's funny now that you said this, we're gonna bring you on for a second episode, and you're gonna have to go head to head with,
Let's go. Let's go. Oh, wait, you're in State Farm?
No, no, no.
Oh,
no.
I was going to say, you're wearing red.
No, but it's funny because me and him talked about this way at the very beginning.
Oh,
when
really?
We thought about the podcast idea. He was like, "Why don't we bring two people on and have them debate which one is
Let's
better?"
do it.
And then it's like now it just perfectly happens.
Oh,
It's
it
like,
clicked.
yeah,
Yes.
it just works out.
I love doing that. I love doing that. And I think that's why my clients know that whenever they have a question, I will always, always, always go based off the contract and based off the policy. So yeah, I love doing that. I love doing, and I think that just goes to show how passionate I am in this industry. Because there's a lot of people doing life insurance, but they don't care about confronting others. They're like, oh, I just want to make a sale. That's it. I just want to get my commission. No, I'm not just about the commission. I'm really about I need you to understand what you're paying for. I need you to know.
So if going to college for psychology didn't really play too much of a part in your insurance side, do you feel as if the psychology degree is almost pointless for you? Like it was almost like, oh, if I skipped this, I could have been maybe further in insurance.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. But I don't regret taking it. I don't regret it because I was young. And when you're young, you don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to be a doctor. No, you know what? I want to be a lawyer. Or I just want to be a psychologist. And that was me. I had no idea. I wanted to be everything. Me quería comer el mundo. Like, I was like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And there is a lot of college students like that. There's a lot of students like that. And even though I don't work at a college anymore, si yo me encuentro con un joven, if I come across a young college student or someone coming out of high school, I'll sit down with you and I'll help you kind of figure out what you want to do. I'll kind of guide you to it because it's very important. The years or the months after high school, after your graduation, it's so important to be guided. Um, and I don't, and no quiero hacer una controversia, but um, college or high school students need to explore, and they really don't. And I've always wondered that, like, man, when I was in college, if they would have taken me to hospitals or just places so I can kind of see how different careers work, I would have known what to be, maybe. But I didn't know. I was stuck in a building, from 8 to 5, and then I would go home and watch novelas or just hang out. So when I graduated from high school, I was like, okay, I'm an adult now, or I'm getting to be an adult. I need to know what I want to do. Y empecé a probar aquí, probar allá. In college, I was like, I'm gonna take this class. No, I'm gonna take this class. But to answer your question, I don't regret getting my psychology degree, but I mean, 4 years is 4 years, And I'm like, dang, I would have, like, hubiera puesto un negocio, hubiera, I don't know, just started 4 years
4 years
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think theoretically you can't even regret it because, like you said, you met Caleb, and Caleb is kind of the reason why you are here where you
there
are
you
right
go.
now.
Yeah,
So if you would have never went to college, you would have maybe
no lo
never
hubiera
met him,
conocido.
and you wouldn't even be here
Yeah,
now.
yeah, no, and I think in life you live and you learn. No puedes vivir arrepintiéndote like, oh man, I no. You live and you learn, and there's always a reason why something happens this way. But now because that happened, I love kind of guiding the homeless and being the youth and being like, hey, explore. That's my biggest advice to young people. Explore, get an internship, volunteer, and many times you're gonna do that for free, but it's okay. Don't worry about the money. Worry about getting the experience, and the networking, and always get business cards, write them down, but explore, like explore.
Did you do you since you are already in your theoretical career path right now, because this is where you pivoted to, do you have like a 5 year plan of where you want to be 5 years from now at this current moment?
Yes, I do.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I
Are you
do.
gonna elaborate a little bit? Elaborate.
Okay, so in 5 years, I'm gonna be 32. That's crazy, 32. Yeah, so that it's scary, right? It's
Yeah, it's
scary
super
and
scary.
exciting, but definitely in 5 years, definitely owning my own office. And my vision is to definitely be able to create a nonprofit. That's my ultimate goal. Create a nonprofit that focuses on low income Latino communities. That's what I want to do. That's my passion. Whether it's going into schools, going into community events, and delivering value to them. Whether not only in life insurance, even though I'm known for life insurance, I want to continue with the whole guiding young Latinos into how to go to college, how to get a scholarship. You know, I will always push a person to follow their dreams and their passion. I'm never gonna be like, oh, don't work a 9 to 5, own a business. No, maybe you love a 9 to 5 and you're happy there. Go for it. Maybe that's your purpose. So, providing value to the Latino community, owning my own office, definitely. My own brokerage when it comes to finances and insurance. That's I don't even say that that's my goal. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like that's my only plan. That's my plan A, and that's it.
So a lot of people who say they, want to help communities and whatnot, it's probably, I don't know. I mean, me personally speaking, I feel like when people say that, they probably grew up kind of rough. I mean, on my perspective, I'm like, I'm all about helping the next man up. But that's also because I didn't have anyone to help us when we were kids, with a single mother, 4 kids, and all that stuff. And it's like, I feel like in order for you to be that kind of person where it's like, I really want to help XYZ, it's because you were in that position where you're like, man, I really needed the help, but no one was there to help me. So let me make a difference. Because we talked about that with Frank, when he was mentioning, he was like, oh, when I was growing up, I didn't have any good pairs of shoes and this and that. So when it came full circle for him and his daughter was like, you should, buy my friend a pair of shoes, he was like, man, I can relate to her because I was that girl.
Yeah. Yes and no. And I'm gonna tell you why. So you're right. You're right. A lot of people, whenever you have a tough childhood, pues quieres cambiar, right? And you have like, man, I'm gonna change. But then there's also, I know a lot of people that have had a tough childhood and they don't want to change. Like they're comfortable there, and así se quieren quedar, and they want to continue those chains. So I think there's two sides of the coin. But growing up, honestly, I'm gonna be very honest. I was very blessed. I was very blessed. I don't think I had a tough childhood upbringing. I grew up with my parents. I was the oldest one. We weren't rich, but we weren't poor. Like we weren't tampoco que tú digas, man, like we didn't have anything to eat. No. And this is to the people. I wanna speak to the people that grew up like that. That you can also be hungry to make a change. You know, it's not always the people that had a tough childhood that I'm like, well, ella porque ha batallado mucho, like si quiere comer el mundo y quiere cambiar. No, also for the people that you grew up in a normal, environment. But that can also te puede atacar de una manera. Because if you grow up comfortable, then when you're not too rich and you're not too poor and you're just kind of in the middle, it's so easy to be complacent. Like, oh, well, I got a good job. I make okay money. I got my car. I got my friends, and we hang out on the weekends, and I work Monday to Friday. It's so easy to be complacent. Pero I want to give all the credit to my parents. They always push me. No, like if we gave you a lifestyle of a 7, you need to give your kids a lifestyle of a 10, and your kids need to live a lifestyle of 15. So it's always moving and always wanting something bigger, you know. And that was me growing up. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and be like, yeah, it was so tough growing up, and no, like it really wasn't. But that I would still see my parents struggle, here and there, whether it was with money or cualquier otra cosa. And I was like, man, I want to bring something better for them. And that's my reason to keep fighting. They're really my why.
I wanted to ask who. So, with that being said, who is your biggest, or what is your biggest influence for life?
Oh my gosh, that's a tough. My biggest influencer,
Influencer or influence, whether you're reading a
someone.
book or a show, it just inspires you. You just love watching that show, and it always gets you going. Like, what would that be for you?
Hmm. That's a very good question. That's a very good question. Um, in honestly, I want to say it's definitely my parents. Like my parents are my biggest, like they influence me. Los consejos que me dan, it's like, you know what, nosotros hicimos así, pero tú le vas a hacer así y le vas a dar. So I have to give all the credit to them. Like really, my parents have been, my biggest supports. Me han ayudado in everything, and I owe the world to them. Honestly, like and maybe that's a Latino thing, right? And Latinos, it's
Yeah,
common to be like mis
definitely.
papás, but
Mhm.
really, they're amazing, and they've influenced me always. And like esos consejitos que te dan, like sus consejos de ellos eran, si vas a hacer algo lo tienes que hacer bien. I don't care what it is, but you have to do it good. Aunque vayas a barrer la cocina, la tienes que hacer bien. Y creas que no, but those little things se te quedan,
Mhm.
you know. So when you go apply at a job or when you're working in whatever industry, oh, my mom would always tell me que si voy a hacer algo lo tengo que hacer bien. Or my parents would tell me que si tengo que hacer es. So todo eso, definitely, every little thing that they told me, even though maybe I would complain when I was little,
Yeah.
ahora sí me sirve.
I like that you bring that up because for me, I'm really, really big on time management and, just moving with a sense of urgency and all of that. But it's kind of funny to think about it now because we were always getting rushed by my mom. Hurry up, get your ass up and go to,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And now in my head, I'm just like, I'm like, okay, that's probably why I'm always in a hurry. I'm always so punctual about time and whatnot. But a little part of me is like, okay, well, because I'm good with that. And this goes back to you mentioning, when, if you're living a 7, you got to give your kids a 10 and so on and so forth. Right now, I feel like I need to be tougher on my daughter because I'm like, I don't know, we're up at this time, but it's not like we're late or anything by no means. But I feel like I need to kind of rush her just to
Yeah.
be like,
So she can know.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, bro, well, why do I need a rusher if I'm so good with time? And it's just always a thing in my head. I'm like, because there's this quote where it says, hard times make hard people, and then easy times make weak people. So I'm like, with everybody coming up in the world and whatnot, and you're doing your thing, and everybody got their own thing going on. In my head, I'm like, okay, so what about our kids? Are we gonna have to push our kids because they don't have to struggle as much because we're doing so much for them now so that they don't have to struggle in the future? Or do we have to still keep that mindset in our heads where it's like, nah, now I gotta make you struggle, but you're not really struggling, but now I gotta like make it seem like you're struggling.
No, I agree with that. I think you have to make kids struggle.
I think you
Like
have to make them hungry.
you have to make
Like
them
have that
hungry,
hunger in
yeah.
there, where it's just like enough's not enough. Like if, for instance, let's just say, I'll give a small example. I like to make my bed every single day. And my son is 4, so now he's catching on to the tendencies of making the bed every day without me asking him. And so he'll be like, I'll go use the restroom, I'll come back, the bed's made, and I'm like, oh, you did it, but you can do better. Let's, make this edge more perfect. Let's make this edge more perfect. So in his mind, psychologically, he's doing good, but he could still do better at making the bed, making sure there's no wrinkles or there's this and that. The cover underneath is, he always gets, he always messes up since there's 2 covers. He always leaves the bottom cover messed up and the top cover is all perfect. So it looks good, but really the cover underneath is all wrinkled up and everything. So I think it's just giving them that little hunger, like, hey, you did good, but you can do better, and I know you can. I just got to bring it out of you.
Guys, because it's a lot of influence, the type of parents that you grew up with, just the circle in general or the community. I'm very big on that. I'm very like, en verdad te afecta, and it gets to you, and like just like you and just like your son. My mom, ¿verdad? Siempre andaban detrás de mí. No vas a hacer las cosas bien, vas a ir por aquí. Siempre me llamaban por aquí, por aquí, por aquí. And I'd be like, "Ah, why my friends, their friends don't do that, they can do sleepovers, they can hang out till 4 in the morning, why can't we? Pero siempre era por aquí, and now I'm so grateful my friends were like that, and I'm gonna be like that, because I grew up like that, and I know it helped me a lot.
Do you feel like your parents were a certain way with you because you were the oldest one? Because
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have a favorite, and it's the little one.
yeah,
It's always the little
I
one.
thought you were gonna say it was you the way you
No.
did
it
that.
was like it's me.
Oh, they have
Yeah, it's
really-
me.
yeah.
The first one.
Yeah, the middle
And the
one's the
girl.
crazy one. The young one, it's always a favorite. And I think they were tough on me. Yeah, I know they were tough on me. I know they were tough on me. But it was love.
I think the best part about it is that you're setting a really good example for your siblings, to where you set the bar kind of high and they're just looking at you as the role model, and they're saying, oh, I gotta be just like my sister. I gotta be something like my sister, so I don't feel as if I'm lower. So I feel like you raise the bar high enough to where now your siblings are gonna be like, we gotta be just as good as her. Which is so good.
Do me a favor, gonna twist it up a little bit so it's more. There you go. Yours is fine. There you go. That's because I'm watching it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dang, my bad.
No, it's all good, man. I kept on going like this. I'm like, I
My
know.
voice is way back here and everything.
I know. Man, no, because like for me growing up, and we're going to go ahead and I want to wrap this whole, childhood conversation up. I know.
That was stuff yours used to go everywhere.
There we go.
As long as yours is good, we're good.
Yeah, most definitely, because half the time it's, like we do a 3 camera angle, so it's all going to be on you.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine. Yeah, you're gonna be good.
No, but back to the whole childhood thing, one thing I can take away from, being the oldest is, always having that extra responsibility. And I think like just me being the oldest makes me want to take care of people more. Because I mean, I grew up taking care of my little brother, my sisters, whether it's, getting them ready and getting them on the bus to school. Funny story. When I was in the 5th grade, my little brother was in pre-K. And man, I used to have to drag him onto the school bus, drag him off the school bus, and then drag him to the class after we got there. I was a little 5th grader dragging a little, 5, 6-year-old by the arms, and he's like, I don't want to go. And just drop him into class. So just, no, it was crazy, dude. The principals were already like, oh, Antonio's back. And he's probably going to be like, man, why are you telling people that?
It's funny you say that too, real quick, because like I'm the youngest in my family, so
So you're the favorite. He's a
maybe I feel
favorite.
like I'm the favorite, but even then, like you said, you're the oldest, and you have that drive to want to take care of everybody. And then I'm the youngest, and I feel like I have that drive to want to take care of everybody. Like I feel like I'm supposed to help out both of my sisters and help my brother out, and like you said before, I had told my grandpa this too, like a month ago. I was like, you help set my dad up to do better than you. My dad's helping set me up to do better than him, and I'm trying to set my son up to do better than me. So that's how it should be. But since a lot of families don't have all that extra information, we're kind of just misconstrued on what we should do and how we should be raising our kids. What information should we be feeding our kids and stuff like that. I wanted to touch on a little bit. So how would the nonprofit work theoretically? Would that be people invest into the nonprofit and then you would pick families out and then you would basically give them a free plan that they would just have to pay every month, or how would that theoretically
Yeah,
work?
so the nonprofit, and I've always dreamed about it. You know, I always dreamed about it. Like I said, todo empezó when I was working at community college, and I'm like, I my plan and my dream is to create a nonprofit where I can obviously get involved with the community, right? And by getting involved with the community, it's through a chamber, it's through community events, it's through all of that, right? Now, a lot of nonprofits don't pay a lot, you know. Hay unos que no. That's why I'm building a business. I'm building something that can make me passive income and I can make money. So later on, I can do whatever I want and I'm still making money. But now I'm living what I want to do, you know. I don't want to work for someone else all my life. I don't want to work like I just don't want to do that. I want to be able passive income is the key. And that's the key because once you start having money coming in and you've already built that and money's just coming in, that tiempo, time is the biggest resource that we have. And a lot of us don't use it or we don't, you know, follow our God-given purpose because we don't have time and we don't have money, right? So, oh, I don't know if he was.
No, no, go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. I was like,
I was thinking about something.
I was like, is he gonna say something?
No, no, it's funny. It's funny now that we're just, like, coming off that topic, I don't think I have ADHD, but I get distracted very easily.
Did you see my story?
No.
Yeah, you did, you liar. I was like, he saw my story.
I do my research. No, but before we go on to, I have another question for you as regards to insurance and you scaling it, but ADHD, is that true?
What,
Do you
that-
actually have ADHD, or
I
do you
mean,
feel
I'm
like
not.
you do?
I'm not like prescribed, but I really feel like I do. Like
Someone stop fiddling with
TikTok
that
told
water
me I do.
bottle.
Oh,
TikTok-
man,
oh,
TikTok
You know,
medicated me.
I'm dead. WebMD used to be able to diagnose people. Now it's TikTok
Now it's
experts.
TikTok. I know. No, no, no. I don't want to say it's like because no, like tampoco. I really think everything is mental. Like I'm big on mindset. You know, si yo me digo que lo tengo, lo tengo. Um, but it's really hard for me. Growing up, it was always hard for me to pay attention in school. And like y'all can ask my siblings, me sentaba a hacer tarea y a los 5 minutos estaba acá y estaba allá y estaba acá. It's really hard. Like I think people that really truly have ADHD understand how hard it is. You know, y yo tuve que trabajar mucho even in my communication. Because I would be telling you a story and I would bring 10 stories into one.
Yeah. Okay,
And,
I guess maybe I am ADHD.
So now we're all
Maybe
ADHD.
maybe
Yay!
I am, man. I don't know.
No,
Maybe
listen.
I'm getting diagnosed right now from TikTok. I don't know. It sounds like it. 'Cause that's for sure me. That's for sure me.
But see, then I think about it, I'm like, well, a lot of people have ADHD now. You know, porque todos batallamos con enfocarnos. So I really think it's social media. I really think it's social media.
Now it's more the attention span because of social media.
Yes,
Back then it might have
that's what
actually
it is.
been you had ADHD.
True, yeah.
Now I feel like social media is causing these kids to have the ADHD.
Yes, because
like you said, you're just swipe. Oh, I don't like it. 3 seconds, swipe.
and just look at this, yeah. And if you look at the like the history of social media, you know, Facebook is different. Like I was in the poke in Facebook. I don't know if you remember that, like poke, you know. But it was Facebook. You know, you would scroll at your own like pace. You would see posts, you would pokes and friend requests. But I feel like the social media now, like Vines and TikTok, or Instagram, it's scroll and it's like 5 second stuff, and your brain is like constantly switching. So I really think it's social media. It's that, but we call it ADHD.
Yeah. The funny thing about it though is that, like, and it's kind of weird being in like the media, like social media too. But whenever you have to like make actual posts, you're kind of still feeding into that whole, on one end we're like, yeah, social media is bad attention spans, all this and that. But as content creators, you're also part of the problem as well.
Well, theoretically,
That's
we're
true.
not. You know why? Because it goes back to what she said at the beginning of if you're adding value to somebody's life through that social media post, you're really not adding to the dysfunction. You're really trying to help them get back on track of what they actually need to and want to do.
No, but here's a little pushback on that. You have to do certain techniques, certain, like for example, you got to use certain techniques to capture their attention to make them stay on the thing. So theoretically speaking, you're still contributing to the issue.
It's twofold. It's twofold. It's
Yeah,
both.
so
Honestly,
it,
I feel like social media. That sorry to cut you off, but I feel like social media nowadays is really based on how much money are we gonna generate. Basically, from
oh
every
yeah,
single company, it's ads, 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 ads. Like you haven't even noticed now. I don't know if y'all noticed. I noticed for sure. When you're swiping on stories, there's an ad in between the person's
yes,
next story, and then there's an
or
ad between the
sponsored.
next person. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, goodness, they're just throwing ads in everywhere now. So everything is ad money based when it
Yeah.
comes to social media. So like I guess you're just trying to not be the pointless social media actually have value whenever people are sliding
Yeah.
through.
And it's creepy. Like, puedes hablar de algo like, oh, hey guys, we should get a pizza. Y te sale el art de la pizza. Like, what? You know? Yeah, but it's all about ads. It's all about making money. Yeah.
So, David mentioned about you having a 5-year goal, and then you told us about the nonprofit and whatnot. But, it's kind of hard to do things alone. And the reason I bring that up is because I know a guy who's trying to, he moved from Washington and he's trying to do his own thing over here, but he's not really working out. And, me and David are more of a team where it's like we have good and bad, things that we can bring to the table. But to get your perspective, in order for you to create your nonprofit, what kind of team members are you looking for? Like, what are you looking for, like in terms of, oh, I need a person that can do this. I need a person that has this kind of character trait or that character trait, or maybe I don't want somebody who's like this. So, if you were to build your team with, let's say, 6 people, what would each of those 6 people do?
Yeah. So right now I have a team going on with life insurance, and I thank God for this opportunity because it's really helping me learn how to work with a team and what to look for into people. But to answer your question, definitely one is passion. I love working with passionate people, whether it's passionate about creating social media content or helping others or educating, but passionate people. I love people that have a drive, and that are not lazy. People that are not lazy, y que no hagan excusas. And yes, that sounds like, oh yeah, that sounds like common sense, but there's really not a lot of people like that. There's really not. There's people that can make it seem like they're like that, like they got to drive, but are you really like that? Like, are you like that on your rainy days, on your tough days? So people that have a drive, and that are very connected to their God given purpose. That I love working with those people. That they know, maybe they're 18, maybe they're 30, but they know this is my God given purpose. This is my only plan, and I'm passionate about it. You know, and not only am I passionate about it, but I am resourceful. Like, I connect with other people to help me grow in the areas that I need to grow. So that's the team that I'm definitely looking for. People that have a drive, people that are hungry, and people that don't give up on the first. Because business is hard, and even creating a nonprofit, I can just imagine it's hard. Working with people is hard in general.
Yes.
People are people, and that's anywhere, but just finding the right people and building them up, and building them into leaders. I mean, that's the key. That's
What was your main inspiration to want to start a nonprofit though?
when I was part of the chamber. I was part of the chamber for Dallas, and just seeing the need. I remember I gave a speech once to a youth going to college. We did some scholarships, and all of those scholarships people, I was in charge of interviewing them. Like, oh, why should we give you the scholarship? Y todo eso. And just the majority of them, I'm gonna be very honest. Like, I would see them come, and most of them, they would ask me, because I was their friend, more than an advisor, I was their friend. They're like, hey, I don't know what to wear for this interview. Hey, I don't even know how to do a resume. Like, what is a resume? So all of these things, I'm like, people don't know these things, and they're so important for you to know, because you can take it on to a different job, a different career. How to do a resume, how to dress for an interview, how to speak at an interview, right? High school did not prepare me to do that. I learned that through now TikTok, but back then it was YouTube. Like, what questions am I going to get asked at an interview? So, but I believe esas cositas are very important. So, working with youth and working at the scholarship event, and interviewing these young kids and getting to know their stories. Some of their stories were so tough, man. Like, they came literally out of nothing, you know, and that inspired me to be like, you know what? I want to create an organization that helps young people, especially the ones transitioning from high school to college or high school to the workforce, because those years are very detrimental, are very important, because that's when you decide to either go, y a veces lo queremos poner en simple, like, oh, I'm gonna go and go the bad route or the good route, pero tiene mucho que ver lo que vas a hacer in those times.
Yeah, I like that. This is just an idea that I just thought of because you said that. I'm not telling you to do this, but you can gladly take it. I like this idea where you could, let's say you go to a middle school in sixth grade. You keep up with five of those same students just to make sure that you're in that same class with them. So once they become seniors or maybe juniors, they see you again. So they see you in the sixth grade, and then they see you in the 11th grade. They say, "Hey, I've seen this girl before. She talked to us about this, and that. Maybe I should speak to her about really trying to get my life together. I've seen her back then. I've seen her now. She's reiterating it again to me. Maybe I should take this more serious." And I think that if you had that nonprofit, that would literally, like you said, go out into the community, go to these middle schools, go to that same middle school that's going to charter into that same high school, and as long as they keep seeing you, then it stays in their head, hey, maybe I need to really focus on what they're preaching to me. Because like you said, there a lot of people, and even the schools, are not going to be giving this information to them. Yeah. So if you could be that nonprofit that comes in middle school and in high school and is preaching to the same exact students every single year, then they know, hey, I can rely on this person to go to as a mentor, or to help me get my life on track, or to help me make better decisions, because the high school is only going to do so much, or the middle school is only going to do so much. They can maybe help me steer me on track, and I just feel like that maybe that's a good idea to like take into consideration, and just because I remember, like, I don't know how they did it with y'all, but in elementary they would give us the talk about sex and everything. And then in middle school, they did it one more time, but it was completely different people. And then you get to college, high school, and they don't even do it no more, right?
That's true.
So,
Wait, hold on. And this is for the thumbnail. But yeah, we're talking about sex in elementary school?
Fifth grade, they would give you, not a condom, but they would give you a bunch of like sexual books to just learn, hey, this is what you need to maybe not worry about, STDs, This is fifth grade, yeah.
That's crazy, dude. Oh my God, dude. Another thumbnail. But no, seriously, because we didn't even start learning about sex in school until, I want to say, the 11th grade when they had sex ed.
No way.
Yeah.
They didn't talk to y'all in an auditorium or nothing like that?
No, nobody came in and said, oh, here's some condoms to a handful of 8th graders.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was surprised they wouldn't. In high school, I could understand that condoms. You don't want to even give that to elementary kids and middle schoolers, but that's insane. I would think that they would do more of those programs. But,
nah, I don't know. I think it's probably because you guys were on the other part of town, essentially speaking. But I'm sorry to cut you off, guys. But before we wrap this up, I do want to get your perspective on the day in the. Just pretty much walk us through a day in the life of an insurance agent.
Or what you would do exactly.
Okay.
Because you're going to be different than a lot of other people.
Right. So, see, a day in a life is crazy, because if I would show you my calendar, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. But this is the fun part about being a life insurance agent. There's always something new. There's always something different. It's obviously not a 9 to 5 or a clock in, clock out. So I pretty much own my own time. And I pretty much, whether I'm here or I'm traveling or lo que sea, I just have to organize my appointments, my study time, y todo eso. So it's really hard to give a day in a life exactly, but for the life insurance agents, I think it's just components of your day. Like, there's a time where you prospect. There's a time where you, now record on social media, right? Because that helps you with your business. There's a time for self-development. There's a time, if you're studying for another license, you have to squeeze that in your day of studying. Talking to your clients, right? Because you lose your clients when you don't talk to them. And, I've learned that. So, yeah, it's really hard to give a day in a life. But right now, I'm in a season of my life that I'm definitely wanting to grow in just being a point of resource, to families and kids too, young people, like college. And I still do that kind of como dicen under the table kind of thing. I don't work at a college anymore, but that's really my passion. If a college student says, "Hey, I don't know where to go after high school. What do I do? Where do I enroll? Should I go to a university? Should I go to college?" Then let me sit down with you. We'll meet at Starbucks, and I'll give you the whole plan.
Maybe
So
not Starbucks. Don't shut out Starbucks.
Oh, I can't say Starbucks?
No,
No?
it was just a joke.
Oh, I was like, okay. Oops, sorry, Starbucks. Sorry.
Free promo. No, I wanted
Free
to,
promo, yeah.
I wanted to ask you.
Oh, that's why they took the thing off the water bottle. Oh,
So
you can tell I haven't been in a podcast in 10 years.
So you alluded to it right here that you want to grow and everything like that. So can you give me one quote that has stuck with you, and two, can you give me a couple books or for the audience that they should probably read?
Yes, books, Atomic Habits. Definitely
Oh my
Atomic Habits.
gosh,
Yeah.
why is, I'm on that
Everyone
book
has
right
to
now.
read that book,
I'm
Atomic
on that one
Habits.
right now.
Yeah, it's
That's
the
a good
little
one.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's the little thing, especially with people that I mean, because we all here have ADHD now, right?
Certified.
It's certified by TikTok, so it's the little things. It's crazy, pero son las cosas chiquitas that really make you or break you.
Yeah.
You know, they're either gonna make you succeed or they're gonna break you. And I'll be very honest, you know, like I've struggled with that. I've struggled with the little habits. Sometimes we think of habits like, oh, smoking or drinking. No, hay hábitos peores, you know. Those are not just the bad ones. Hay unos que están bien mal, you know, and it's just the little things. So Atomic Habits is definitely, everyone has to read it. We all have habits.
What is that quote you want to give everybody?
Oh man,
I know that was a little bit on the spot because you really gotta think. Oh, what's a good?
Because
quote?
because I have a lot, but um, and I think it's a lot, but I had it on my phone screen, and it said, and this is goes for all the my people that own a business or that want to go into it. Maybe it's hard and they're struggling with it because it's tough. It really is, but it said, one day they're gonna ask me how I do it, how I did. No, one day they're gonna ask me how I did it, and I'm gonna tell them I try to show you, you know, and that just resonates with me because when you're in business, especially in life insurance, you're gonna get a lot of claws, oh yeah, a lot of doors closed on you. You're gonna get a lot of doors closed on you, and it's very there's a high statistics show there's a high number of people that come into life insurance and they leave, like not want them, because people say no because they close the door. So creating that endurance and keep going and being persistent and consistent. And I keep that on my phone. Like one day they're gonna ask me how I did it, and I'm gonna tell you I tried showing you, right? Because whenever I'm trying to recruit someone or hire someone to come into life insurance, and they're like, oh no, never mind. And I try always to be like, let me show you, let me help you, let me kind of guide you, let me give you the resources. Pero a veces la gente like no está ahí para lo malo, pero cuando ya las cosas están bien, then they want to come and be like, oh, how'd you do that? You know, you just got lucky. No, I did not get lucky.
Yeah,
I worked for
I
it.
like it because it goes back to your roots of just trying to be the example. What you just said right there is literally being the example. I tried to show you. I tried to show you as me being the example for you to follow, and I'm showing you how to do it. It's just a matter if you're gonna put the work in as well. So I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one thing I do take away from that is, aside from, you know, everyone hopping on the bandwagon once it's already gone, it's like you weren't there when I was doing this and that, staying up late, writing these policies, you know, just anything in general that you don't see on social media, or, you know, stop by and check on me when I'm doing this and that. You weren't there to see all of that.
Yeah.
Like, social media makes being an entrepreneur look so glamorous, but they don't see the work that you put into anything that you put outside of that 9 to 5, or just anything that you feel passionate about. You know, whether it's, you know, the smallest little details that, you know, I'm sure you have to write detailed policies and whatnot, but they don't see you having to word it a specific way so it's, you know, legally
There's
binding.
a lot. Yeah, I even posted a reel which I was I was gonna delete it, but I didn't for a reason. I posted a reel of me crying, which is weird, right? It's weird recording yourself crying. I know. It's cringe. Pero, but I did it for a reason. It was a tough year. I was coming up into the whole life insurance world, and it was tough. And I recorded that reel and I posted it so people can know that social media can be false. It can be fake, honestly. Because I'm usually always happy, right? I love to be a happy person. I love to laugh and dance and music. Me encanta eso. But I still go through a lot of struggles, you know, whether it's business or personal life. And people have to understand que no todo lo que brilla es oro, right? But I had another quote before I forget it. Not really a quote, a Bible verse. And I live by this Bible verse, you know, and I live by it. And it says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. gente perece por falta de conocimiento. Not because of lack of money, not because lack of resources, not because lack of good people around you. No, it's because lack of knowledge. We're just no sabemos. And now we live in a social media world where you can learn about anything, man. About money, about how to be a good mom, how to be a good parent, how todo ya lo tienes like aquí. ¿Sí me entiendes? But most of us, we just don't want to learn. We don't want to grow. We don't want to get out of our comfort zone, and that's why we perish. That's why I tell my team, the richest place on earth is a cemetery. Because people ahí, they die with dreams, with songs they never wrote, with everything, plans they never came across, because tal vez no se prepararon, tal vez no quisieron, o no sé, no se conectaron with people. But always be hungry, always learn, get to know someone, grow. Yeah.
Oh man.
You want to go to that? I'm actually hungry right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like super hungry. Actually, no,
Hungry,
we're both
true.
really hungry.
Yeah. No, man. I want to thank
Which
you.
one's favorite food?
Oh,
Just to
before we
finish it
go,
off.
my favorite food. This is a sad one, but it was Spaghetti Warehouse until they went out of business.
So you
Why
would
do
say
you even-
spaghetti though?
No, fuck no.
Well, what's your dish? What's your favorite?
Yeah.
My favorite dish at Spaghetti Warehouse was like that 5-tier lasagna that they had.
Oh, wow, this is
Oh no.
Bro, I don't care. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not chowing down on carbs all the time,
Yeah.
but just something about lasagna, man. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know if it has to do with my mom making it. Now I like lasagna or whatever. Or maybe the memories of going to Spaghetti Warehouse and eating inside the little booth. Or
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's always been lasagna. That's like my go-to thing. But
Lasagna.
yeah, I'm just like,
Damn, I guess I would either say pizza.
Chipotle.
Nah, either pizza or spaghetti. Like if
Really?
Chipotle's just good because it's good for the body and what I'm trying to do. But I love spaghetti and pizza. Like
Pasta. Yeah.
it's
True.
top tier. What's yours?
Wings.
Wings.
I can wing. I can eat. I can wings. Oila, no.
can wing it
I
up.
can wing it. I can eat wings every single day, man. Yeah.
So
Original
chicken,
hat.
basically.
I can't say Wingstop, but I'm gonna say Wingstop. Okay, Wingstop. I got you.
No, you can say Wingstop.
But I can't say Starbucks.
no, you can't say Starbucks. Don't even say McDonald's.
I want to thank you so much for stopping
Thank
by
you.
on the direct discussion set and sharing your story. I'm so glad you stopped by. Like, trust me, like when you replied and you were like, yeah, I can come on. I was like, great, this is going to be awesome. We're going to get to learn more about insurance and spread your message and word around. But, and then talking about it before we even got here and what you went through to get over here, I'm even more grateful that you showed
Oh
up.
no, you.
I appreciate you
No,
for
I
your time
appreciate
and
you.
actually like coming out here, like Roger said, like for appreciate you for your
No,
time.
thank you. No, it means a lot. Thank you for reaching out. No sé con quién era, pero los dos.
Yeah.
But thank you for reaching out. It was definitely fun. And I mean, we're here to be a blessing to other people to help.
You're gonna for sure come on another one though. We gotta.
We're
With
gonna have
another
to.
agent?
Yeah,
another
Bring it
agent.
on, baby. Bring
We
it
gotta
on.
plan it out. We got it all planned out.
All right.
Alrighty, guys, I want to make sure you guys subscribe, link, tree, bio, all that good stuff. I don't have to keep saying it, man. Go ahead and check us out. Share our shorts. Make sure we give Evelyn De La Garza her flowers, man. She needs her flowers for what she's doing in the community and where she wants to go in life. So if you know anybody who wants to get in the insurance business, especially a young Latina out there, I know you're looking out there in the camera saying, man, that could be me on that couch.
Yeah.
It could be if you put in the work and listen to what Evelyn De La Garza has to say.
Appreciate you guys. We'll see you at the next episode of Direct Discussions. I'm glad it's no more.
Hey, that was so fun. That was so
No,
fun.
yeah, it's actually kind of turned on.
Yeah, turn on.
I'm tired of hearing the little.
Yeah, no, this was different than the other podcast. The other podcast was like 10 minutes.